Good morning. Well, it might not
Good
be
morning.
morning in your end.
It's afternoon in our end, yes, but good morning to you.
Thanks for participating. My name is Helen Engebrigtsen. I'm a judge here in the Oslo District Court. You're not seeing them right now, but on this side I have Magnus Granat and his legal team, and on this side Craig Wright and his legal team. You will see it when I shift the camera position.
Okay.
I would like to start by getting your full name.
It's Neville Edward Sinclair.
I have your date of birth and your address. Please give me your professional status.
I'm
what do you
currently retired partner from Grant Thornton, and I retired in July 2016, but still occasionally working as a consultant for that firm.
What is your affiliation to? Do you have any affiliation to any of the parties?
Well, formerly I worked with BDO, which is where I had met Craig Wright in his capacity as a manager within the IT division.
You're now going to give evidence before the court, and in doing so, you are obliged to tell the truth. This implies telling everything you know and not to conceal anything. And you must also state if you are uncertain or if you don't remember. And it's a punishable offense to lie to the court. I will ask you to make an affirmation that the evidence you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So I ask you, do you affirm that you will tell the plain and whole truth and not conceal anything? If so, please repeat after me. I do so solemnly affirm.
I do so solemnly affirm.
Thank you. And Mr. Craig's legal representatives will start by asking you questions. The other party may have questions, and I may have some questions. Vær så god, advokat Helle.
Takk for det. Good evening, Mr. Sinclair. Very briefly, is it correctly understood from what you told the judge that you have been a registered accountant throughout your career?
Yes, since 1985, I was a registered chartered accountant and became a partner of an audit firm in 1986. And that in that context, I was working with mutual banks, mainly credit unions, until 2004 when I merged in with BDO.
And you have also already told the judge that you actually were a colleague of Dr. Wright from BDO. When did you first meet with Craig Wright?
Well, when I joined BDO in about July 2004, it was a time when new standards were coming in with to do with data risk and the payment card industry data security standards, and I saw within BDO that they had some expertise in IT solutions that I could draw on as part of the audit of those particular areas. So I got to meet Craig Wright in either 2005 or 2006. I think it was more likely 2006, mainly because that was the year that I moved in from the Parramatta office into the city office from my old firm. So I'm fairly confident 2006 would have been the first year I would have engaged with Craig Wright.
Is it correctly understood that your role in BDO was the traditional accounting work?
That's correct. Yeah, I was the audit partner in charge of signing off on financial statements, but that also included certain assertions I had to make to the regulator. In Australia, it's called APRA, who establish other standards and requirements for audit to comply with certain regulations that they've imposed.
What about Dr. Wright? What was his line of work?
Well, his line of work, he was a senior manager, I understand, in the IT division of BDO. and he worked with a team in that division to support the general audit area in relation to IT security and controls.
How would you describe his professional and technical skills?
Well, certainly on the technical skills, he was extraordinary in the way that he understood the workings within the computer systems and his ability to extract and identify potential threats that might be useful for the client to understand and continue to evaluate solutions. Professional standards, he was always at a high level. He always presented to the facts, sometimes not always well appreciated by the client, particularly in their IT division, but he was certainly well versed in giving them the details that needed to be done to improve their systems.
What about his personal skills, his ability to interact with persons?
His personal skills, he was very direct in his approach, and sometimes that caused a little bit of friction between different people in understanding what he was trying to say. He was generally very direct in wanting people to understand the implications of any of the risks that he identified in the work that he undertook, which ultimately was the benefit because they benefited from making sure that they were able to deal with those threats and rectify any problems.
During this year years in BDO, were there any particular areas which Dr. Wright worked with?
Well, the main area that I had interacting with him was to do with the data security. The payment card industry data security standards just released in 2004. They involved quite a bit of detail around the security of the card data, MasterCard and Visa card, and any other cards that were issued in terms of the financial payment system. And to understand and identify the key risks to the data that's being held within various banking networks, including their data management areas, data management companies. He was used in that vein to identify potential threats that they needed to address.
Did Dr. Wright have any views, or did you discuss alternatives to traditional banking?
Well, in the context of being involved in looking at data issues, he had some thoughts and ideas that he was able to express both privately in whether dealing with client issues and also dealing with the outside of the client issues. He was very keen on understanding how they could better improve their security systems by either better logging of the transactions and also the way in which the data was held in the systems that could improve their security. So in that context, he could I guess remember times when he was drawing little diagrams in boxes and how he was explaining how he thought the data could be improved, and that somewhat seems similar to what we currently look at in terms of the descriptions of blockchain, but it wasn't referred to in that context in that sense.
But logging, was that the topic?
Well, I think that was all part of the issue of data transfer, particularly money transfers between banks and also other data transfers in terms of security over PINs and the card data information, which was paramount to that.
We lost you for a few seconds there. Could you repeat the last sentence, please?
Yes, he was mainly involved in the identification of security within the card data, which was information stored by the bank systems and networks, and he was interested in